Okay, I think you can hear me. You should be able to hear me now. So, again, I'm excited to be here with you this evening. And all right, awesome. So you can hear me now. Sorry about that, but I'm excited to be here with you tonight. And tonight we're going to be talking about 2024 and the exciting stuff that's going to happen. The exciting stuff that's happened in 2024. Hold on. Turn on Instagram, and for some reason that is playing in the background, so I need to fix that. Instagram is something that's new to streaming, um, and I need to make sure that it's not playing in both play, or it's not. I don't hear the playback in both places, so let me fix that. Hopefully, I don't knock you off of Instagram because that's going to be pretty interesting if I do. So I don't want to hear my own self. Welcome to those who are here. Hey, Doris, I see you. I see you on Instagram. I see Patrick. I see the procurement queen has joined us. Thank you very much for thank you very much for listening. But let me see how I can turn my volume here. Sorry about that. All right. So if you can still hear me, give me some reaction or thumbs up out there in okay, I can hear myself. All right, I think we're good now. Sorry again. Sorry about that. Instagram is new to being streamed live via StreamYard, so we're testing it out. Awesome. So tonight, I want to talk about 2024 and this concept of Plan A is the only plan. A lot of times we hear people say things like, if plan A doesn't work, then go to plan B. And in concept, I do agree with that, right? Conceptually, I agree with that. Um, However, one of the things that we need to be thinking about is if we're focused on other plans, and we're really not focused on making plan A work. And one of the things I see with the procurement queen is she highly focused on contracts and helping people understand how to get government contracts, right? That's her plan A. And she focuses intently on that. My son Patrick, he focuses on embroidering and putting products like that. And he's laser focused on that plan A, not on all these other things, these other distractions. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, all right? And so I'm gonna put this in context for you. I'm going to give you a lot of information, and I'm going to ask you to share some information as well. So just be ready to go because we're about to get running, and we're going to be running real fast, all right? So um, again, thank you. If you're just tuning in, we're going to be talking about 2024. Um, Plan A is the only plan, and we're gonna put Plan B to the side for right now. We're gonna highly focus on Plan A. There's a quote that says, if you try to do one thing, the right one thing, you can wind up with everything that you've ever wanted if you highly focus on that one thing. Now, the question I have for you is this: what's the one thing you can do such that by doing it, everything else is easier and unnecessary? Now, let me ask you that question again because I want to make sure you get it, and then you can interact in the comments, and I can pop those up on the screen. What's the one thing you got to think real hard here? What's the one thing that you can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? See, in 2024, there's no plan B. In 2024, 100% focused on plan A. In 2024, it's all about laser focus. In 2024, there's only one plan, and that's plan A. All right, that's what I want you to be thinking about. So now, let's dive into some of these things that I want to talk about. And the first thing is going small. See, those who truly succeed. Now, I'm not talking about average success. I'm just talking about mediocre. I'm just not talking about, hey, you were better this year than you were last year a little bit. I am talking about ultra success. I'm talking about a high level of success. See, those who truly succeed understand that what it means to go small. Number one, it means to ignore all the things you could do just to do what you should do. Number two, not all things matter equally. Find the one thing that matters the most, right? Number three, extraordinary results are directly determined by how narrow you can make your focus. Now, everybody knows that the word is extraordinary, but everybody know that I don't like extraordinary. I like extraordinary, right? Because the only difference between ordinary and extraordinary is extra. That's what I want you to understand. That's what I want you to know, right? So ignore all the things you could do and just focus on the things you should do, right? Not all things should matter equally. Find the one that matters the most. And number three is extraordinary results are directly determined by how narrow you make your focus. See, Josh Billings said this. He says, be like a postage stamp. Stick to one thing until you get there. I see some of you will get this, and some of you have to wait a little bit later to pick it up. But you understand what I'm saying about a postage stamp, right? All right. So when you go as small as possible, you will be starting one thing. You'll be staring at one thing. You'll just do one thing. And that's the whole point, right? Now, some of you may have heard of this concept called the domino effect. But in this book that's written and it's called The One Thing, actually, there's the author puts in there this concept called the domino effect. He says, harness the power of geometric progression. Now, that's a lot, but I'm going to tell you what that means, right? Now, he says, if you started with a 2-inch domino and increase the size of each subsequent domino by 50%, the 57th domino would practically bridge the distance between the Earth and the moon. Now, that's the power of geometric progression. Now, what does that mean for you? See, that means that you need to be doing fewer things for more effort instead of doing more things with side effects. You get that? You need to be doing doing fewer things because you're going smaller for more effect instead of doing more things with side effects, right? So now, when we talk about this domino effect, what you got to do is you got to think about in your business as an entrepreneur, you got to think about what's going to get you extraordinary results. Not normal results, not average results, not a little bit above average results. What's going to get you extraordinary results? So getting extraordinary results is all about creating that domino effect in your life and in your business. See, the key is over time. I know some people want it right away, but that's not what it's all about. It's about over time. See, success is built sequentially. It's one thing at a time. It's that domino effect in your business. So you need to be thinking about that. Now, I'm going to ask you a question on the back end. We get ready to close out. That I'm going to help you understand how to ask yourself the question, the right question, so that you can get to that one thing. All right. Now, here's the other part. Success leaves clues. Now, if I look around me right now, success leaves a lot of clues. I can see it, right? I was sitting out on my balcony today just looking at the water and enjoying the peaceful sounds of the water. birds chirping in the background, and just laying and relaxing. There was a slight breeze. Right now, I'm sitting around in my office right now, and I'm looking at some of the artwork that I have in here. Right, success leaves clues. The one thing applies to success in all aspects of your business and in your life. So let me give you some examples. One product or one service. See, entrepreneurs who are ordinarily successful always have one signature product or one signature service. I'm gonna give you some examples. Kentucky Fried Chicken had secret chicken recipe. Google's search. See, the one thing. What is your one thing? Put that in the comments if you thought through what your one thing is, right? I want you to understand the power of that one thing. So let's take it. So that was a business example. Let's take it to your personal life, right? So no one is self-made. You may be good, but you're not that good. I just want you to understand that no one is self-made. Every successful person, Walt Disney, Albert Einstein, Oprah Winfrey, Doris Boss, Cheryl Edwards Gray, Patrick LaFleur, the procurement queen, every one of them who made a difference had someone else that helped give them some direction or some guidance. They had a lending hand. They had a helping hand. At a pivotal point in their life, they had someone that came in and helped them out, gave them some direction. See, who is that one person you can go to for guidance? We all have to have it. The third thing is one passion or one skill. See, my passion is about helping influence, impact, and empower other people. That's my one thing, right? You got to have one passion or one skill. Extraordinarily successful people have one intense passion or ability to stand out. It defines them, it drives them. Everything that they do, that's what they focus on. So, what's your one thing? What's your one product or service? Who's that one person you can go to for leadership, for guidance, for coaching, for mentoring, all of those things, right? What's that one? What's your one passion? Put it in comments if you have one of those, right? See, if today you don't know what your one thing is for 2024, then your one thing is to find out. Let me say that again. If today you don't know what your one thing is for 2024, then your one thing is to find that out. See, applying the one thing to your work, to your business, to your life is the simplest and the smallest thing you can do to propel yourself toward the success that you want. Now, you may say, yeah, well, so I don't have time. I'm trying to multitask. I'm trying to do 100 things at one time. Well, let me tell you what, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, but multitasking, it doesn't really work. Now, you need to understand. You have to understand that one thing for yourself and for your business. Now, if you don't know what it is for 2024, you need to find that out. If you're still in corporate and you're trying to find out one thing for your career, then you need to spend some time this month, not next month, this month, in the next 2 weeks to figure that out. Cheryl said, coaching, my signature program is bridging the gap for women in finance. Go ahead, Cheryl. I love it. You popped that up on the screen. I love it. That's her one thing. But you got to apply this to work, into your life, in your business. Look at your products and services. What's your signature product or service? What are you known for? What do people, what do they come to you for? If you don't know that, if you haven't figured that out, then they see you as you got a whole bunch of stuff and they don't know what to count on you for. You got to have that one thing. See, when you go to KFC, the ones that are still open, people know that fried chicken is their thing. Now, they have other things on the menu, yes, but their signature is that fried chicken recipe. See, Google has other businesses, But what we even call it by their one thing name, Google it. You see, that's not the name of the company, but that's what we call it. Well, the parent company is called Alphabet, but you know what I'm saying, right? So buying into one thing's become difficult because we unfortunately bought into too many other options, right? And more often than not, all we're doing is muddying up the water, confusing ourselves, following misguided actions, and we get sidetracked from our success. And then we wonder, oh man, it's December. Why didn't I get everything I wanted to get done? Because you don't have that one thing that you can focus on. And I don't mean just focus on in January. I'm talking about in May and July and September and then October. That's you got to have that one thing that you're going to focus on throughout the year, right? So now, let's see here. Pablo says, "Good afternoon, Mr. LaFleur. I'm Gabriel Torres' son. We built your beautiful house, and I left some positive messages on your walls." Yes. Oh, Pablo. Okay. You did. And some of those messages you left are right here on my wall. I have two of them right here for you. I had a person make those specifically for you. They're framed, they're wrapped, they're ready to go. All you got to do is come by and pick them up. Thank you for popping in. I love the messages that you put on the wall. And so let me show you some of the things that Pablo did. I'm showing you his message here on the screen. He said he put some positive messages on the wall as they were building it, and they did. So one of them is, "I will be one of the greatest." Right? I saw that, so I had someone frame that. The other one says, "Prove yourself to yourself, not to others." I saw that, and I had someone frame those and put them right here in this office because I like those. So I appreciate you adding value to me there. So let me keep going, right? So now, again, what we need to do is think about success leave clues, right? The next part of this is we got to understand how to get rid of these six lies that we tell ourselves over and over and over and over again. Now, I'm going to help you understand these six lies um, that could impede your success. All right. Number one, everything matters equally, right? No, everything doesn't matter equally. Okay. So most of us face complex problems without a clear formula for good decision making, right? So when we feel overwhelmed, what do? We tend to fall back into the comfort zone, something that feels familiar, right? We don't continue staying out there so we can stretch ourselves. I want you to understand, see, to get outside your comfort zone to be more effective, you got to change some of the things you do. So one of the things you have to do is you got to go small. You got to go extreme, and you got to learn to say no, right? And we have what's called the Pareto principle. I'm going to talk about that here in just a little bit. But um, the Pareto principle, I'll do it now. Pareto principle says that the minority of our efforts generates the majority of our results. You see that? So 20% of your effort gives you 80% of your results, is what it's saying. Now, here's the thing with the Pareto principle and this one thing, right? One, we got to go small. Don't get trapped trying to finish everything on your to-do list. See, that takes up too much time because you're not prioritized, right? Go extreme. Take the Pareto principle to the extreme. Keep zoning in on that top 20% until you end up with that essential one thing. And then say no. Say no to everything else that's getting in your way. Say no to everything else until your most important work task is done. See, to-do lists tend to be too long. Success lists are short. You say that again. To-do lists seem to be too long. Success lists are short. See, you got to pull. You don't get pulled in a way that you don't want to get pulled if you keep that to-do list too much, right? So what you got to do is you got to hone in and focus in on the top 20%, and then keep shrinking it down, keep shrinking it down, keep shrinking it down. I'm gonna give you the question to ask yourself toward the back end of our time tonight, so that you can hone in on it. Okay, so stay tuned for that. That's coming. I have it. See, I like what Ross Garber says. He says many things may be important, but only one can help. Can be the most important. Many things can be important, but only one can be the most important. I love that quote. Right now, the next thing is you got to do is to get over these hurdles to success. Is multitasking gets more done. Uh, See, many people have this false impression that multitasking helps them to accomplish more in less time, right? But the opposite is really true. Research shows that multitasking leads to more mistakes, poorer choices, and greater stress. See, your mind is complex, but it cannot do two things at once. It even in scripture says you either love one and you hate the other, or you hate one and love the other. See, you can't multitask. So task switching costs you. Multitasking divides your attention from the most important thing. So stick to that one thing. See, we expect professionals like pilots and surgeons to focus fully on their task, right? When you're in an airplane, you want that pilot to be focused on the one thing, right? When you're in surgery, you want the surgeon to be focused on that one thing, right? So you should likewise give the most important work your undivided attention. See, it's not that we have too little to do all things. It's that rephrase how I'm going to say this. It's not that we have too little time to do all the things we need to do. It's that we feel the need to do too many things in the time that we have. See, I'm gonna put that in comments because I need you to understand that. I need you to get it, and I need you to. Oh man, let me put this in the comments right quick. Hold on a second. Boom. Comments. See, it's not that we have too little time to do all the things we need to do. It's that we feel we need to do too many things in the time that we have. So in 2024, there's no plan B. In 2024, 100% is focused on plan A. In 2024, it's all about laser focus. In 2024, there's only one plan, and that's plan A. There's only one plan, and that's plan A. Now, let's get to number three, because this is where people really, really, really need help and they struggle with. We need to live a disciplined life. See, discipline yourself means training yourself to act in a specific way or to form a habit. So I was talking to my niece today on Facebook, and she was saying, "Man, I wish I could do she wished she could do the things her older sister was doing." And I said, "You can. All you have to do is get laser focused." Her sister told her the exact same thing. You can. All you have to do is get laser focused. You got to discipline yourself, train yourself to act in a specific way, to form a specific action. See, you can't call and say, "I want to," but then you're not willing to do. It doesn't work that way. So in order to discipline yourself, the things that you need to do is this, right? Don't be a disciplined person. Be a person of powerful habits. Build one habit at a time. Over time, you'll be able to acquire more habits. See, and give the habit enough time to form. See, some people want to rush a habit to form. They can't do it after day two, then they want to give up on it. No, some data says 21 days, some data says 66 days. Whatever it takes you to form a habit. I formed a new habit in 6 days once because I was intentional and focused on it so that I could do it. And every day I was focused on it, intentional. So now I have that habit that I wanted to form. So you can form a habit in as short a period or long period as you want to. I wasn't sharing with you data, but I'm telling you, I formed a habit in 6 days because I was highly focused. I wanted to do that, right? Success is about doing the right things, not about doing everything right. Let me say that again because you need to understand that success is about doing the right thing, not about doing everything right. Okay. So the trick to success is to choose the right habit and bring just enough discipline to establish it. See, when I wanted to form that new habit, I was bringing in just enough discipline to make sure I did it the right way. Now, that's up to you. You have to understand. Yes, I've read Atomic Habits. It's an awesome book. Hey, Brian Simmons, I'm glad you locked in. Hey, Theodore, I see you there. Right? Those with the right habits seem to do better than others. Uh-oh. Boom. That's a slap in the face for somebody, right? Because those people are doing the most important thing regularly. And as a result, everything else is easier. You see? Because they are focused on the right habits more than everybody else. So that's what you need to do. Focus on the right habits. And guess what? Man, woo, woo, it all becomes great. And all of a sudden you start seeing yourself go to a whole nother level, right? I'm living that life right now, loving it, right? So I'm telling you, it's not something that I learned in a book, it's something that I'm living, right? Number four is willpower can be summoned whenever you need it. Uh-oh. That's the thing that people lack a lot of is willpower. See, most of us have heard the proverb, where there's a will, there's a way. See, while willpower is an important ingredient for success, it isn't something that we can consume, that we summon as and when we want to. It's something, oh man, if you have it, whoo, man, it's an amazing thing, right? But don't spread your willpower too thin, though, right? And monitor your fuel gauge and time your tasks. Now, you may say, well, what does all that mean, Cedrick? So let me help you understand this, right? So willpower can be summoned whenever it's needed, right? But don't spread your willpower too thin. See, willpower is like a battery. It has a limited life and it gets depleted with use. However, it can be recharged when given the downtime to recover, right? So you want to expend that energy on the right time so that you don't deplete all your willpower, right? And then sometimes you need to recharge, right? And recharging is, that could be on a weekend for some people, right? That could be just in a couple of hours for some people, right? But you need to recharge. And that willpower, man, it can be powerful. Now, monitor your fuel gauge, right? Just like when you're in a car. So if I'm driving from here to Houston, right, I got to know how much gas I have, and I got to monitor that fuel gauge. And I'm not one of those ones that's going to bring that fuel all the way down to like a quarter of a tank. No, no, no. I'm going to catch that well before a quarter of a tank, and I'm going to fill it back up. Well, it's the same thing with you. It's the same thing in your business. It's the same thing in your career. It's the same thing in your life, in your relationships, everything. You got to monitor the fuel gauge. See, when our willpower runs out, we're going to revert to the default setting. Which typically means average results, which typically means comfort zone, which typically means we quit, we give up. See, when you use your willpower first on what matters most, you can always count on it. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to put that in the comments because I want you to take that. I want you to use that right now. Let me just put that in the comments right quick. I don't normally stop to put a whole lot in the comments, but I'm gonna do that because I just like that quote, so I put it make sure that I say that tonight for you. When you use your willpower first on what matters most, you can always count on it, right? And then the third thing I said with willpower is you got to time your task, right? You got to know when enough is enough and move on. Again, willpower can be summoned whenever needed, all right? Number five. We should live a balanced life. Now, the idea of having enough time for everything sounds appealing, right? Well, guess what? How many times in the comments put a thumbs up or say yes? Or how many times have you said, "I wish I had more time"? Right? Well, let me tell you something. You can wish all day, you can dream about it all day, but time is time. There's 24 hours in a day. There's 86,400 seconds excuse me, in a day. That's it. You don't have any more. You can't buy anymore, no matter how much money you have. I can't buy anymore. We can't get any more. Time is time, right? So now, what you need to do is figure out how you're going to live this balanced life. So when we give time and focus to what matters, it takes time away from the lesser priorities, right? And we automatically get out of balance, right? So trying to take a middle position means that we make extraordinary commitments to nothing. I like that. We make extraordinary commitments to nothing when we try to play the middle position. You got to land on one side or the other. You can't continue to try to slide on the fence. When you go hunt and you try to shoot at two rabbits, guess what? At the same time, you get nothing. You go fishing and you're trying to grab two fish at the same time. Guess what? You get nothing most of the time. Unless you got like a double hook or something, and just so happens something happened. But that's not the norm. Purpose, meaning, significance. Purpose, meaning, significance. I'm gonna put that in comments too because I need you to understand that. Purpose, meaning, significance. That's important. Purpose, meaning, significance. These are what make success a successful life, a successful business, successful relationships, successful everything. So you got to seek them out, and and you're going to most certainly live your life out of balance, right? If you don't seek out purpose, meaning, significance, successful life won't come. It just is what it is, folks. It's not what I'm saying, but it's written. It's in all kind of places. It's in scripture, right? You want to go there. It's in a lot of different books, right? Purpose, meaning, significance. The solution is not to live a balanced life, but to apply counterbalance. So never go so far that you can't find your way back, right? So it's what you're doing is having a counterbalance in your life so that you can stay steady. See, the reason we shouldn't pursue balance is that the magic never happens in the middle. See, when you're balanced, you're in the middle of that fence. You're straddling back and forth like this, right? We got to go to one side or the other. The magic happens at the extremes. Woo! That's what I'm saying, folks. If it's $1 million you want, you're not going to get it playing in the middle of the road. You got to take some risk and you got to jump out there, right? You got to make your money work for you, right? If you want to retire early, you can't just go to work and do 8 to 5 every day, 8 to 5 every day, think you're going to have the resources you need to retire early. It's not going to happen. The reason you can't pursue balance is that the magic never happens in the middle. You can't straddle that fence. The magic happens at the extremes. In other words, when you're supposed to be working, work. When you're supposed to be playing, play. Ooh, man, a lot of people need to hear that part right there. When you're supposed to be working, work. When you're supposed to be grinding, grind. When you're supposed to play, play. Turn it off. Go do other things. See, it's a weird tightrope that you're walking, but it's only when you get your priorities mixed up that things fall apart. It's only when you get those priorities mixed up that they fall apart. So in 2024, it's that one thing. It's plan A, right? I'm gonna get you to type that in the comments, not right now, but in just a little bit, right? Number 6 is big is bad. See, people tend to associate big results with complicated, difficult, complex processes and feel overwhelmed and intimidated before they even embark on the journey. That's because in your mind, you start putting all those things in your mind. And I want to tell you, see, to avoid failure, those people settle for what is comfortable, what is average, what is mediocre, what my friends doing. That's what I want to do. They try to fall for things that are in reach. They can see that, so they can just grab it right here, right? Instead of stretching themselves to go a little bit farther, stretching themselves to go a little bit higher, stretching themselves to be a little bit greater, stretching themselves to get extraordinary results. And when you do that, woo, man, I tell you what, those extraordinary results come, and all of a sudden you start understanding why um, purpose, meaning, and significance is important, right? You start understanding that big is bad, right? So you got to think big. You don't order from the menu. You got to act bold, and don't be afraid to fail, right? Everybody knows what think big means, right? Thinking big is one thing, but you also have to take action along with it, right? And your thinking drives your actions. If you think small, you're going to take small action. If you think big, you're going to take big actions. You're going to go out there. You're going to be bold. Just like Pablo, he didn't understand. He didn't know what I was going to do with all those messages on those walls when I walked in the house. Boom. I saw them and I said, "Oh, I like this. This is motivation. This is empowerment." You know, I always say, and it's on my shirt here: influence, impact, and empower. Right? Those are the things that influenced me when he wrote that up there, right? It impacted me, right? And then it helped empower me to think about doing some great things with that. That's why it's on my wall here so everybody can see that when I'm live. See, it changes lives. When you do things big, when you think big, you dream big, you act big. Now, the other thing is don't order from the menu. See, since none of us know our true limits, and none of us know our true capacity. We don't we don't know what it really means. Impossible, unrealistic. We don't really know what that is, right? But when you dream big, that's what you're shooting for. The impossible, the unrealistic, right? Those extraordinary results. It's different, right? Imagine outcomes that others don't see so that you can make your own creations. Imagine outcomes that others don't see. Right? Your mama may not see it, your daddy may not see it, your cousin may not see it, your husband, your wife, your significant other, they may not see it. It doesn't matter as long as you see it. That's the most important thing there. You have to be able to see it. So to trigger your imagination, you got to try studying people who've achieved what you want to achieve. You got to start hanging around those people. You got to start getting mentored by those people. You got to start getting coached by those people. Whoever that is, whoever you look up to, and they're doing what you want to do, they are where you want to be, then you need to start hanging with those people. You need to start associating with those people. Man, I got a guy that I just told him yesterday in a text message. Let me pull up a text message here. I said, I'm glad to be around a person like yourself. It makes me dream big, work harder, and smarter. And that guy, I mean, he's an extraordinary dude. Joe Nimmers is his name, and a lot of you have seen him on my show, and he's interviewed me on Talk Leadership with Cedrick. But that dude makes me want to be better, go farther, right? Because that's who he is. I can't talk about his story and his journey, but I can tell you what, if you knew it, man, you know why I want to follow his lead, because he's doing some boom major things. He's done some major things in his life and in his career, and he continues to do this. Right now, I'm going to drop this. Oh, the last one before I go. Be willing to take bold actions. Right. Don't just think big. Take bold actions to bring your thoughts to life. Right. Be willing to take action. Don't be afraid that you can't take the action. Don't be afraid to fail. Failure is a part of the process. Everything that you do may not work the first time, but you got to keep going. Okay. Trust me, I've had a lot of failures, right? But I've also had a lot of successes. I don't worry about the failures. Those are just things that I'm learning along the way, along the journey. So, your one big thing is your purpose. Your one big thing is your why. What is it? Your one small thing are your priorities that you take action on. What is that? What's your one big thing? What's your purpose? What's your drive? What's that thing that's meaningful, that's significant, right? That's what I want you to think about. In 2024, there's no plan B. In 2024, 100% focused on plan A. In 2024, it's all about laser focus. In 2024, there's only one plan, and that is plan A. I like what Pablo just said, right? Comfortability kills your dreams. Absolutely. Absolutely 100% it kills your dreams, right? You got to be willing to go after it. Now I'm gonna share some things here in our we got probably about 20 minutes left here. I'm gonna share some things with you. Now the truth is, see, the simple path to productivity is this: to get to that one thing, right? I'm not going to be able to share everything I want to share with you tonight because we're going to run out of time. But I am going to share with you the simple path to productivity, to that one thing. And one of the things you have to do is you have to um, ask yourself the focus question. The quality of our questions determine the quality of our answers. You say that again. I need you to make sure that you understand the quality of your questions, meaning that you ask yourself, determines the quality of your answers. See, by asking the focusing question that I'm going to pop up on the screen just a little bit, you drive yourself to make the best possible decisions. See, you'll need to ask this question over and over and over again. See, it's going to lead to that first domino. Remember, I talked about the domino effect earlier, right? It's going to lead to that first domino, and then it's going to lead to that next domino. Then it's going to lead to the next domino, and all of a sudden, boom, it's going to be dominoes just falling all over the place, falling all over the place. You have to be willing to ask yourself that question. You have to be willing to ask yourself the focus question. Now, the focus question is a big picture question. It's about the big picture map. And it's also about small focus, a small focus compass, right? You get that? The focus question is a big picture map and a small focus compass, right? You can look at a map, right? And you look at the map of the United States and you see all these states out there, all these towns, all these highways and all this kind of stuff. But then you start laser focusing in on the one path that you want to take, right? So I have a trip plan on my motorcycle cross country trip, right? And it's going across the U.S. In 6 weeks. Now, I can look at the whole map, or I can focus in on the path that I'm going to take to go to all the states and then come back to Texas. Okay? That's what the focus question is all about. Now, you have to ask yourself this question, and I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to pop it up on the screen. The focus question is, what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? Now, I put it up on the screen, but let me do this. Let me put it in the comments so that way you can take it from here. You can remember this tomorrow and the day after and the day after. And you got to keep asking yourself that question. Everybody on here needs to ask themselves that question. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? Everything else will be easier or unnecessary. You know, I have been forgetting to put this on Instagram, but I just did it, right? That question is there for you. Okay. What's that one thing? Now, let me break that down for you. See, one thing means you have to pick only one, not two or three. Pick the one most important thing. That's what you got to think about. Okay, what's that one thing? Not two or three, one, right? And notice I said, what's the one thing that I can do? So let's break down can do. Okay. That means take that possible action, right? It's not should do, it's not could do, it's not would do. You see, because we do get into that shoulda, woulda, coulda mindset, but no, what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier, unnecessary? Now, you got to ask yourself that question. Now, let's break down another part of this sentence here by doing it, right? What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else is easier or necessary? So you got to focus on leveraged action. That's the first domino. And then avoid distractions. See how we do that? Right? We got to focus on leveraged actions and avoid distractions. When you knock down that first domino, what did I say earlier? Another domino will come. Another domino will come. Another domino will come. Well, the law of attraction is awesome. It's similar to the law of magnetism, right? You attract who you are, not who you want to be. See, if you are a person that says, I want to do this, I want to do that, you're not living in the law of attraction or the law of magnetism. You're just living in a dream world. The law of attraction is saying you attract those who are like you. Like attracts like, right? So it's an awesome principle, right? But you have to be doing those things. And just talk about them. You got to do it. Not some days, not most days, not every other day, but every day you have to be willing to take the actions. So now, the focusing question asks you to find the first domino and focus on it exclusively until you knock it over. Say that again because you need to get this. The focusing question asks you to find the first domino and focus on it exclusively until you knock it over. See, once you've done that, you'll discover a line of dominoes behind it. And either they're going to be ready to fall or they've already fallen. They're going to either be ready to fall or they're already fallen. Now, that's going to be totally up to you, right? So you got to ask yourself this focusing question, right? And you got to think into it. Don't put 5 minutes on it. You don't put a limitation on it. You may have to let it marinate a little bit. You may have to ask yourself that question before sleep and let it marinate and come back to it. Right. So write it in a notepad where you can come back, or write it in your phone so you can come back and your mind. Once you start focusing on those things, man, your mind starts to work. All of a sudden, you start living into it and you start getting things coming. Because once you put things out in the universe will bring things to you. So you got to ask yourself that question and be ready for the answers that it provides you. What's the one thing that I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? In 2024, there's no plan B. We're laser focused on plan A. Laser focused on making plan A work. See, your journey toward an extraordinary result will be built above all else on faith. Faith ultimately leads to action. Uh-oh. Your journey toward extraordinary results will be built above all else on faith. That means above everything else, your journey to extraordinary results is going to be built on faith. Faith is ultimately leads to your actions. And it's not just going to be regular actions, they're going to be extraordinary actions because that's just the way it is. Now, if you have no faith, I'm sorry for you. I can't help you, but I'm telling you, you have to have faith in order for it to work. Okay, because you got to have faith in yourself first of all. You got to have faith that no matter what you go through, it's going to work. See, whenever I struggle, I always go, God will provide. Have faith. No matter what's happening around me, God will provide. Have faith. I, People that know me know I always say, I'm always great. I wear my armband that says it every day. I'm always great. For those that really know me, you know that that's what I'm going to say. I have faith that everything is going to be great. It's going to be great. I have faith that no matter what's happening, no matter the trials or the tribulations that I may have, it's going to be great. I'm always going to be great. See, you have to have faith. This faith will lead to your actions. And I want to tell you this, because I'm going to start wrapping up here, but I want to tell you this, right? The reason why I know that faith will lead you, if you have faith in it, you'll get extraordinary results. And I understand this one thing process, this plan A process. The reason why is because I have faith, is because I'm a believer, is because he chose me, right? And I'm going to hit you with this. If you just look, if you're not a religious person, if you don't believe in a higher power, that's on you. I'm just going to give you a message, okay? I'm going to leave you with this message here tonight. If we just go to 1 Samuel 16:16, right? Look, I'm going to show you how it works. The power of faith and believing that you were chosen, right? This is why I know that all this works, right? When we go to 1 Samuel 16:6, what we find is, see, Samuel came to David's house to anoint someone. Oh, man. See, God sent him there to anoint someone. But do you know what? They left David outside. You go outside. They didn't even see him, count him as a person. Just go on outside. You second class. They weren't worried about David. Now, Samuel said, look, I checked all the people that's here, but none of them are the one that God wants me to anoint. Look, he says, I've looked at the one who came from Wall Street, but he's not the one. I looked at the one that was at the health club, but he's not the one. I've looked at the one who has all the degrees on the wall, but he's not the one. He says, I've looked at all of them, but none of them are the one. He said, so do you have another son? He said, do you have another son? And David comes in the room playing his little guitar, playing that guitar. And he said, this is he. This is he. He didn't have to say anything else, but this is he. See, do you hear me? See, you might not look like they want you to look, right? You might not be the person that they want you to be, but this is he. God called you. They didn't call you, right? Well, see, if you're in jail, this is he, right? If you got 5 kids out of wedlock, this is he. If you're broke, this is he. If you don't have a job, this is he. If your business is not working the way it wanted to work, this is he. I don't know the condition for you, but all I can tell you is this is he. So what I'm telling you is you didn't choose him. He chose you. Now, if you don't believe me, just go look in the book. It's right there in the word. See, even if they try to kill you 16 times, 16 different ways, this is he. Just type that in the comments for me. This is he. I'm just telling you right now. See, they tried that. Saul tried to kill David 16 times, 16 different ways, but this is he. right? See, some of y'all already remember these stories, but I want you to understand. See, when you're the chosen one, nothing else can stop you. Type that in the comments. This is He. It's very easy. See, when you're chosen, it doesn't matter about they. It doesn't matter about what they will do. See, when you're the chosen one, they can't touch you. When you're the chosen one, nobody can hurt you. When you're the chosen one, they're not able to get to you. When you're the chosen one, they're not able to stop you. I know a lot of people that try to tell me I'm not good enough. I'm not ready yet. You can't do this. You can't do that. This is He, is all I have to keep saying over and over again. This is He. He chose me. I didn't choose Him. It's the same thing with you. He chose you. Your life is already anointed. All you have to do is walk into that one thing. See, when He chooses you, roadblocks move out of the way, alibis disappear, giants are killed, right? Go ask Goliath, right? Nobody thought, mm, ooh, look, I'm sweating over here, right? All you have to say is, this is He. I'm chosen. And then you got to go focus on it. See, now He's not just going to let you just sit there and think He's going to come knock on the door and say, I'm here for you. No, you're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to take some action. You're going to have to take some steps, right? But this is He, right? So now let me tell you something, folks. Every single day, He's there for you. It all starts with faith. You have to have the faith the size of a mustard seed, and then the imagination the size of Mount Everest, so that you can go and do some extraordinary things in your life, right? No, we can't just talk about it. We can't just be think about it. We can't just dream about it. We had to go take some action. We had to do some things, right? But when you're chosen, man, and you start taking the appropriate actions, all of a sudden He opens you the window and He pours you out a blessing bigger than you can imagine right now, bigger than you can dream. Where I'm sitting right now, this is a blessing bigger than I dream. This is He who is you, right? I'm nothing special. I just took action. You can take those actions as well. You can do the things that other people can't do. You can do the things that your family maybe wasn't able to do. You can do some things that maybe your spouse don't think you can do. You can do some things that your friend don't think you can do. You can do some things that maybe your coworker don't think you can do. You can do some things that maybe your boss don't think you can do. You can do some things that even you don't think you can do right now. All you got to have is faith and understand that you are chosen. This is He. Whew, man, I'll tell you what. I enjoyed our session tonight. I hope you take at least one thing. I know that I laid out a whole lot of stuff, but I hope you take at least one thing from tonight and understand that 2024 Plan A is the only plan. And as long as you have faith and you believe in yourself, when you take action, you can make it happen. Right. So there was a question out there. You can throw a question in the oh man, look at Miss Julie Span on here. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. There was a question out here that Pablo put. Would you say the first step towards success is fixing your temple? Well, let me tell you this. The first step is having faith. When you have faith, He'll fix your temple for you. When you have faith, He'll give you what you need to get right. When you have faith and you believe, man, remember I said roadblocks go away, alibis leave and they disappear, and you can kill giants. When you have faith, Pablo, all those things get fixed automatically, right? And then it allows you to be able to take massive action. It allows you to be able to do extraordinary things, right? It doesn't matter where you are today. It only matters where your thinking is. And if your thinking goes to another level, if you start believing and doing, man, whew, it changes everything for you in your life, the people around you, all of a sudden you may lose some people who are around you, right? Because you start thinking differently, you start talking differently, you start walking differently, you go to a higher level. Some of those same people you used to hang around with, they're not going to hang with you anymore because you're going to a higher level and they're afraid to go to that higher level. So what they're going to start doing is falling off, right? And it doesn't mean that you're better than them or anything like that. All it means is you guys are going in different directions, and that's okay. When they're ready to come up, they'll grab your hand and they'll say, pull me up too. When they're ready to go here, they'll grab onto your leg and say, let me go with you. Man, you drink a little bit of tea. It's kind of laid out some tea tonight. So on next Monday, I'm going to be here talking about another aspect of 2024. But I hope tonight, if you didn't hear the whole thing, I hope you go back and listen to it. But plan A is the only plan in 2024, and you need to focus on that one thing. I'm going to end with the first quote I said at the very beginning. But there's two quotes I'm going to leave you with. One is, if you try to do just one thing, the right one thing, you could wind up with everything you ever want. And the last one is, because I really like it, be like a postage stamp. Stick to one thing until you get there. If you want to be a great entrepreneur, stick to it until you get there. If you want to be a great educator, stick to it until you get there. If you want to be a great banker, stick to it until you get there. If you want to be the best contract person in the world, stick to it till you get there. If you want to be to have the best embroidery business, stick to it till you get there. Whatever it is, have faith and stick to it till you get there. Hey, I want to thank you guys very much for tuning in tonight. Any other questions? I have time if you want to put some questions out there. I can definitely stay and answer those. And or if you have a comment, I definitely um, have time take a question, answer a question. You can see here I'm sweating a little bit, but whoo, man, when you're having fun, it's all good. I absolutely love it. All right, so I don't see anything in the comments. So hey, thank you guys very much for uh, joining me tonight for On the Beach with Cedrick. Next Monday night at 6:30 Central Time, we're gonna be right back here again for another episode of On the Beach with Cedrick. And oh, it's gonna be the day after Christmas, so hopefully you'll be happy and pleased. I forgot about that is Christmas Day actually. Oh man. Oh well. Wait a minute. We we may not have a session next Monday is Christmas, so we will not have a session next Monday. I forgot about that. Well, hey, you guys have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and I hope that you get everything that you want. I hope that you spend time with your family, your friends, your relatives, and you guys have a great time. Ask them what's their one thing, right? My family knows that I'm going to ask those questions. So my son's already listening on here tonight. He's trying to get a head start because he knows I'm going to ask him that question, right? So ask your family that what's their one thing? Do they have the faith? Do they believe? Do they know this is He? Thank you guys and ladies, and I hope you have a great evening. Bye bye.